Hello, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 8 of the Midwest Gaming Classic Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Garris, Panel Director of the Midwest Gaming Classic. Johnny Gioeli is the voice behind the theme songs from the Sonic the Hedgehog series starting in 1998 with Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. Since then, Johnny has been involved with writing and performing songs for the majority of the Sonic releases since then. Join him as he discusses his history with the series. And you know what? Let's get to the podcast.
Since the Sega Dreamcast debuted Sonic Adventure, the Sonic series has always had an awesome rock tune that has been fronted by Johnny Gioeli. He joined us remotely for a discussion and a question and answer period about his time working in the series.
We are gathered today to just have an informal question answer. I'm just here for you guys. You know, usually when I visit the conventions and I'm not playing, of course, which I wish I was playing, a lot of you guys always have questions about, how the music works, questions about my career. So what I like to do, if it's cool with you guys, just give everybody a little overview of how I got to where I am today. Are you into that? Is that cool? We'll start with that.
Go for it. That sounds cool.
Has anybody ever seen Crush 40 live? Anybody? No? That is sad. That is sad. Well, that's because we're usually playing in obscure places like Tokyo and England and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so next year we'll try to make it happen there so we can get there and play for you guys. Anyway, so for those who are unfamiliar, my name is Johnny Gioeli, of course, and I'm the lead singer of Crush 40, Absolute Hell, and Hardline. You guys heard of these guys before? These bands? Yeah, cool. All right, thanks, guys. And so, basically what we're going to do today is just we're going to chat, we're going to ask questions. So I don't know how we're going to handle that part, but let me get through a little bit of...
I've got a microphone here, and we're going to...
So that's perfect. Okay, so let me just give you guys a little overview of how I got into this business and, what I love most about music. So I started, where are you going? Get back there in your seat. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. So I actually started performing professionally when I was, go back to your seat. Sit down now, behave. So I actually began performing at 8 years old is when I started to realize that I had a passion and love for music. And I'm going to turn this volume down a little bit.
My wife doesn't go down there at all.
And in theater and music in theater, musicals and stuff like that. Older brother Joe, some of you may know through some of the bands that I performed with, like Hardline. When you have an older brother who has his high school band in the basement and setting things on fire, you want to be just like your brother, and that was me. I want to be like my brother, and so I started watching them perform and practice every night in my basement in my house. I'm telling you guys information I usually don't tell anybody. But so it would do these little rehearsals every single night. I would sit on the steps in our basement in Pennsylvania, and I'd watch them perform and practice. And I don't know how this happened. I figured out how to play these things called drums. And one day, they had a gig, they had a show, and the drummer was violently ill. I said to my brother, I said, "Can play the drums. I can do this." Yeah, I don't know how to play drums. I said, "Joe, I can play the drums." Called the band in, and there I was playing the drums, and I became the drummer of the group called Killer Hit. Metal kind of thing. But that was actually the start of my learning, about music and learning about the business. It's just that good. It's a business. But prior to that time frame, I was about 11 years old when I started playing professionally, and for me, I knew exactly what I wanted to do at a young age for the rest of my life. It's quite unique because a lot of kids today, even adults today, still try to grasp onto what they want to do, what their passion is in life. Whether you sell pencils for a living or you're in a big rock band, you have to love what you do. So I knew at a very young age that I wanted to create music and share it with the world. And I got to tell you guys, I don't know how many of you guys read articles and stuff about what I do, but I am really tremendously grateful for all the fans. So I'm applauding you guys, because without you guys, really, I'm just a voice. I'm just a voice and not heard. So I take music and I take what I write very, very seriously, and I wonderful feedback on how some of the music and some of the original Crush music changed lives, and that's powerful for a musician. So at a really young age, I knew when my friends were out playing with their Tonka toys and riding their bikes and digging holes, I knew I wanted to be a rock musician and focused on that entire life. Anyone out there play an instrument, write music, anything like that? You guys, yeah, it's a cool thing. So obviously, I see in the back there. All right on. But so it's the greatest feeling in the world, man. If you can change someone's life or affect someone, that brings it to a whole different level. And for me, that's the best part of it. It's not about the fame, it's not about the fortune. It is nice to pay your bills, but it's about creating something that someone's life. I've had people come to me and say, "Look, I was through a horrible medical condition, was fighting cancer, was doing this, that, the other, and there's someone's brought me up." And that's what it's about feelings, about affecting someone. So I love every bit about this business. So June Sonoy, guitar player, Crush 40. You heard of June, of course. You know June. So June was actually a Hardline fan and contacted me through guitar player Whitesnake. At the time was Doug Aldrich. Wasn't the original guitar player, but the new guitar player. And Doug Aldrich called me and said, "There's a Japanese guy that wants to talk to you about gaming music." I'm like, what is gaming music? I had no idea, no clue whatsoever. I'm about to coordinate playing a game as a peanut shell. But he called me and said, "Hey, I'm a great fan of yours and Hardline, and I'd like to talk to you about working together and creating gaming music." I said, "Okay." So we met in Los Angeles, and we had a whole bunch of songs written already, and what came out of that was obviously Sons of Angels. So we created the band Sons of Angels. Give that name originally before Crush 40, anyone? Okay, yeah, cool. We have some professional partners out there, I think. So we released a bunch of tunes, found out that there was a band called Sons of Angels, and we changed our name. So I'm just giving you guys some interesting information. But June called me one time in a wonderful Japanese accent, and he said, "What are we going through?" And so I said, "June, relax." And at the time I was in my young 30s, now I'm an old man, but I was in my young 30s, and I said, "You know what? I don't ever want to turn 40 years old, so let's crush 40, even the number. And that is how the band's name was born. It was me not turn 40. Soon, we're going to have to upgrade it to Crush 50. I'm just kidding. Bad joke. But anyway, so that was the birth of the band, and I said, and I enjoyed working with June. And I said, June, this is the coolest thing that I've ever done for a number of reasons, but mostly because times in like a movie has a soundtrack, these games have music, and the fan will buy the music by the game because they love the band, or they love the game, or vice versa. And it's just really, really cool. It was a cool concept, and it's actually really changed the whole industry a lot. Now we expect to hear music on these games, and I wish we had more music on the games. But that's how it all came to be. And I'll tell you. So here we are now. I can't believe this, you guys, but it's now going on 19 years of making Crush 40 music for games. So it is unbelievable how it's evolved and how it continues. But so Boone and I we're like brothers, and we have a great time together, work really well together. So how does the music happen? I'm in my studio right now in my home, and it's obviously much more sophisticated now than it was 19 years ago. But June and I, we pass a lot of files through the net. So all our songs start with Sega presenting us a storyboard. And it's really cool. I've got the coolest things, you guys. I have these drawings of like the original like Sonic Adventure, and they would lay out each scene, draw it, and then it would be in Japanese, of course, which I can't read Japanese, and in English, and they would explain the scene, and they said, this is what's going to happen in the scene, and we want you to create based on that scene. So it's really kind of cool because a lot of the creativity originates with them, with the scene, and then you didn't have to kind of get inside that scene and say, okay, what do I want the outcome of this creativity to be? And I got to tell you, obviously one of our biggest songs was Live and Learn. And when I wrote it, so June handed that music to me, but see what you can do with this music. This is what I feel during this game. And I said, okay, and I wrote it. I wasn't sure if it was good. Really, honest to God, is this good? I didn't really know. And I think, as an artist, you should always question if your work is good, and if you stay humble like that, it allows you to really expand in the future. But does anyone have any initial questions? Where's the microphone? About Crush 40 process. Let's get some of those. You got any questions? Just don't ask me like their size, because that's creepy. Come on, hit me with some questions.
Question.
And I'll tell you some cool stuff.
Okay, so you can hear me, right?
I can now, yes.
All right. So when "Open Your Heart" was written, was when June went to you with that song, was it already written? Because I've heard the version of it where he sings it. So had you heard the song at that point and it was already done, or did you contribute to that in any way?
Yeah, with "Open Your Heart," you're going back quite a few years. I have to think about this. I think that "Open Your Heart" was already in existence, and yes, and I had my brand to it. Yes, that's right. And you gotta get me thinking back quite a few years. But yes, that one was for sure something I had to add to. And I don't listen a lot to, if I'm redoing like Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. I shout out some of the songs as I'm talking to you guys. I can't help it. But yeah, so that particular song, yes, my flavor to it. I add my whole vibe to the song, and it's like born. What else, guys? Come on now, hit me with stuff.
Other questions?
Yes.
and are both teachers. And our spring break coincided this year.
Oh, there you are. Let me walk around.
West Palm Beach. And we
Thank you, man.
to the Bahamas for a day.
Hello, my name is Courtney, and I'm a really big fan of your music. I have I love all your songs, and I'm wearing a Crush 40 shirt as well.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, so here, let me show you right here. It's it has 2 nights to remember on it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Big fan.
Yeah, thank you.
You were right, yeah.
Every time I said something, you nodded your head, so I knew that. Been following the band for a while. Any questions, guys, about music, about Crush 40? Anything?
All right.
Hit me with anything. Shot.
They're giving me a workout today here.
Cool, man.
I was just kind of curious about your creative process. When you start a song, does June present you with the music first, and then you have lyrics written, and then do you kind of like scat over it to kind of figure out a melody, or how much is that already composed?
That's a great question. As a lower feedback, so excellent question. As a songwriter, I'll tell you, I'll go back in time and answer that question a little bit. So as a songwriter, I never had a record collection or CD collection at all. And people go, are you kidding me? I go, no, never. And here's why, because I didn't want to be influenced by any particular sound. Now, of course, when I was growing up, I loved listening to Scorpions and Ronnie James Dio. You know, I've got that growl, that oh! I got that in my throat. But, so I love those bands. But I never collected all the music because I did not want to be, I wanted to be inspired, but I didn't want to have that stuck in my brain when I write. When I play the piano, which I have right here, or I pick up the guitar, which I have right over here, when I play, it is me. I don't know how to play anyone else's songs, which is kind of an interesting concept, but it's worked for me. So, to answer your question, June, usually the process is the scene is created for the game. June gets that scene first, so he knows what's going to happen, and then he writes music. He kind of feels what he feels musically. You know what I mean? So, obviously, like... Okay, so he felt that, obviously, and he passed that music track to me. No melody ideas, no lyric ideas, and then I just take it from there and go, okay, what do I hear in this key? What do I feel? Let me look at the storyboard. Let me read it. It's kind of funny because I'm not a gamer. And you guys ask questions about the games, I'm like, because I don't play. I think the last game I played was with my son was the Sonic All-Stars racing game. I think that's like it. So I usually, it's kind of fun. I would hand off the storyboard to my kids. They would read it. Say, okay, Dad, Evil Eggman does this, and Shadow and Sonic does this, and then I just get with that music, and like you said, it's a little different, but I just get inside that music and start hearing melody. That's been our process for 18 years. Word, music, hand it to Johnny and finish it, and then it's up to me to finish it. And so far, thank God, it's worked out where I've never had a piece of music where I went, I don't know what to do with this.
Oh man,
never.
You write the lyrics too?
I've done a whole lot of wood, but it's not happened. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Awesome.
Other questions?
Yes, it's been an interesting journey. In the whole gaming industry has changed, obviously, when Sega started getting rid of consoles and went to just a game platform, and now these things have come into play. And I gotta be honest with you, I like the old school gaming. I miss a lot of that. And today, when you can make a game and put it on one of these things for practically nothing, it really hurts the companies a lot, like Sega, who are trying to maintain that old school kind of feel. So just so in case anyone's interested, it literally costs millions of dollars, the budgets, to make one of these games. Did anyone know that? But it's true. Millions. And just tons of time. And it's crazy. I was in Tokyo not too long ago, and June would literally get called into meetings at 10:30 at night. Entire company meetings from 10:30 that would go on. The guy worked really hard. But that's the industry. We work at crazy hours. I sleep with one of these on my bed, because if I get a lot of ideas when I'm laying in bed, it's just kind of crazy, and I write them down and then work at odd times. It's not a normal job, you know what I mean? It's creativity. It can happen in the car, it can happen in your bathroom, it can happen at any time. Some of my best work has been on the toilet. I'm telling you, that's a private statement. Some of my best lyrical content has been from the toilet. Just kidding. But so was anyone at the VIP gathering last night at midnight, that late midnight? Are you guys there? You guys are all rested, so you probably weren't there. Okay. Anyway, I was just wondering if you guys. All right. Questions, guys, but we have to take off. I think we're having enough time here. Yeah, I don't know anybody else.
More questions.
Any questions? Don't be shy. Come on. Now's your time.
Oh, I know. Incredible. I saw you.
There you go. There's a hand.
There we go.
So you and June took Sonic Boom and kind of made it your own, a really good version. Have you heard any good covers or remixes of your music? Do you have any favorites?
That one I'm going to need a little bit louder. I'm sorry, I don't hear that one.
Do you have any favorite covers or remixes of your own music? Have you heard any?
Of Crush 40 songs? Is that the question? So, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, Sonic Boom, for sure, and for a number of reasons. Live is just fun to play for me. Good question. How about some more fun? Don't be shy.
Other questions? I'm getting another one from over here.
This is the musician guy, right?
Yeah. I was just curious, on your Kickstarter, you had you would sing a melody or
Probably better than my brother.
sing anything but a chorus for a song. Is that like from your contracts, from the music industry, or is that just like your own limitation?
Wait, so repeat it just one more time. I got the end, but I didn't get the beginning.
You're a Kickstarter for your solo album.
Yeah, Kickstarter, sure.
You had one of the things is you donate so much, and you would sing backup vocals. Is that just contractual because you can't do that? You can't sing lead for like another band because of Crush 40 or other obligations?
No, okay, I got you. Are you referring to the my pledge music?
Yes,
thing?
exactly.
So, okay, now I understand. No, I mean we just set it up like that, but I would do anything. So I'll tell you guys what's going on in case you don't know. So I have probably, I have 40, maybe 50 albums out worldwide now because I am an old man. But and so there was a young gentleman about at the time. He was 19 years old, and he had a diving accident here in my hometown in Connecticut. And when he dove into the Long Island Sound, he hit a rock, unfortunately, and he is paralyzed and recovered from that. So I said, I got to do something short of just cutting a check and saying, here you go, take some money, and that helps. And the community was really supportive, of course. And but I wanted to do something different. So I woke up and I said to my wife, you know what? I have 40, 50 albums out, and I've never done this. I'm going to create a solo album, and I'm going to make it charitable and give them to Joe Walker. So I have a Play Music / Johnny Gioeli, where you can donate, but you get what are called exclusives or gifts. So there's Crush 40 stuff and backstage passes, and what this young gentleman is referring to is, I think I have something on there where I'll sing on your demo or something, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And when I'm actually doing that for someone, and I do Skype vocal lessons, like whatever it takes to build cash for this young man, because people don't realize that someone with paralysis over their lifetime, it's about $8 million over their lifetime just to. So this young man was a football player. Probably you'll hear these stories, and I had to do something. So that's a solo album. His name is Joe Barber, and the whole Pledge Music campaign promotes the cash for him and the cash to create these records. It's not cheap to make records, so we've given away. I have already given away most. I would say almost around like 98% of my memorabilia I've donated back. So every Crush 40 shirt, sign, backstage passes, posters. I don't really know what's left on there, but I'm sure it's some cool stuff.
I was going to say, would you ever consider auctioning off your storyboards that Sega's given you, or is that like a total contractual?
I wanted to so badly, but that's something I'm not allowed to do.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
I don't know why. What's the big deal? But look, I don't know Sega. I only perform. But if I could do that, I would.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. One last question. Are you sick of, you opened up for Extreme with Hardline. Are you sick of More Than Words? I still love that song.
Love it, man. Oh, yeah. So, wow, how did you know about that? That was a long time ago. So, 1990, was that 93 maybe? Something like that. Yeah, toured the entire UK with Extreme, and every night that entire audience sang that song. And it was a cool thing. We had a good time on that tour too.
That's cool, yeah.
It was awesome.
Me and my buddy go to this convention every year, and I brought my guitar, and we sing that song together. That's our little thing.
It's so awesome. Yeah, you should write that song.
All right, well, thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. Any questions, guys? A lot of people ask me what's next. What's next for Crush 40? And I'm going to tell you that Sega Corporation is so top secret that I don't know. I get a lot of messages. John, are you going to be on the anniversary? Are you going to be on the this? Are you going to be on the that? And I never know to the last second what level of involvement Crush 40 is going to have with Sega. It's that top secret. It's pretty crazy. But for me, it's always exciting when I get that call to be involved in a game. And I know that June and I are putting together a couple of shows. We're planning in Osaka and Tokyo. So if you're up for a trip to Japan, come on. But come on, just jump on, let's go. So yeah, that I know was coming up. I don't know. Don't know. So we'll see. What else, guys? What else can I tell you that's interesting? Questions are great.
Two questions. I saw your hand first. What inspired you to cover Firewoman on the Best of Crush 40 album?
That was actually June's. comes Nicole, and it's like, man, I think you can sound good doing that song. It was that simple. I'm like, let's do it.
Do you have a favorite game that you made music for?
Well, there's definitely a few rough songs. For me is I Am, I'm all of me.
Yeah, I love that song. I love it.
And you know why? It's usually something that happens that keeps you engaged in those kind of tunes. But my family was shopping in Target, these Target stores. They have a kiosk, Sega kiosk. And my son recognized my dad.
I know.
And they went, yeah, it was kind of cool. It came home, and then that song became very popular, and those stuff. I love Live and Learn. I love What I'm Made Of. That's one of my probably favorite tracks because live is extremely powerful. You know, I dig it. I've written a lot of these songs traveling, so I'll never forget what time. So. Well, I'm sure what's on Live life. Live life on your own. I'll be getting you know the song?
Yeah,
in a tour bus. I was on vacation with my family, and I actually owned my own tour bus, and we were in a campground, and June called and said, "I need the lyric quick." So I said, okay, June. So I said, family, go out and go fishing, play, whatever, and I'm going to sit here and write. And I literally did. So those are some of my favorite tracks. I'm going to tell you a funny June story. And I love June, and I love June's accent, and I love the Japanese people, so I'm not making fun of anyone. When I speak about June, I just do his accent. June, being a Japanese guy, has never been to a Japanese hibachi restaurant. Never. They exist, but they don't really exist in Japan. So he was in California, and he was visiting, we were working on Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes, Heroes! Okay, I'll show you. So, Sonic Heroes, and I said, come on, man, they're taking you to a Japanese restaurant, and that alone made him laugh. So we go to this place, and we're sitting down, and we're eating, and he starts laughing. I said, June, what are you laughing at? And in his Japanese accent, he says, you see that guy over there? Oh, yeah. And there's a guy over there? I said, yeah. They are not Japanese. There's no Japanese person in here. And we spoke about today. They took him to a Japanese restaurant, and that one guy in there was Japanese. So anyway, every once in a while, I put out these stories. You guys have any questions? Come on, hit me up.
Other questions?
I have a question for you guys.
Go for it.
Has any one particular Crush 40 song affected your life? Has it done anything? Okay, here we go. I want to hear about it.
I knew exactly who was going to raise her hand.
How'd we guess?
Yeah, so I really like your song Never Turn Back in the Shadow the Hedgehog game because I think that's really helped me. I guess I have had a dark past, and I really like the message in the song, no matter how I tries to face me, I turn the other way, and now and then my head starts to spin, but I'll never turn back again. And I think that's really helped me, don't turn back on the dark moments, just keep going, and then, yeah. And I also really like what I'm made of. That really helps boost my confidence. There's usually a lot of bullying going on at school, and I like to think of the song as just, like I'm more powerful than this. I can do it. I can take this bullying down. And,
Let me show you just what I'm made of. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the way I like to write. I'm a real positive guy. I'm the guy who jumps out of bed smiling in the morning because I'm just grateful every day. It's kind of funny. So back in 1992, I was in my young 20s, and I landed what is considered today a very, very large record deal. It was about $8.5 million, you guys. And I'm a young kid. I worked all my life professionally since 11 years old to reach that point. And once you reach that point, you sit back and you go, whoa, now what do I do with this? It's one thing making records and playing rock star, but for me, again, it was about affecting people in a positive way. So when I write, I try to write that way, and that's really what comes out of me. That's the cool thing about being creative, whether you're writing just lyrics or melody or whatever it is, you can affect people.
Music does that. Music rehabilitates. Music can make you feel down. It can make you feel up. So my quest for my solo album is that these songs have such uplifting feeling to them that you just want to crank them so loud in the car and put the windows down and just let the world hear it. So that's whenever I sit down to write and get an idea, I always, I start there. That's where I start. Like, okay, I want this to feel great and I want it to affect them. So I'm glad those songs did that. That's what they were meant to do. So that's so cool. Thank you for that. All right, someone just joined us. Hello. How you doing? You just joined us. I appreciate it. How's it going today? You guys enjoying the show?
Yeah.
I read on social feed that there was a lot of people that also had canceled flights that couldn't get there. So I know it's been a difficult, but next year I'll come back for sure. See everybody in person. Okay, I got a question. I see. Yes.
Hey Johnny, my name is Craig. These are my daughters, Courtney and Holly. We're from Minneapolis area. I don't know a lot about gaming itself, but I know a little bit about music. I've been playing drums for 30-some years. I've been in 4 different bands. At one point, we had 3 drum sets at home. Courtney had the small one. Holly had the middle size. I had the big. Mom plays the keys. We jam in the basement. I have video of her at 2.5 years old playing to her favorite music video with headphones with the Barbie's Diary movie, singing out loud, playing drums, rocking it out. Mom went away, so we cranked it up. She's in her little summer jumper, playing away. So I got footage of Holly playing as well. Told her to bring it to show and tell for school. I said, how many girls play drums? How many girls are as good as you? These girls are naturals. Very musical family. Yeah, we have a blast. So when the girls said, hey Dad, this is what I want to do on spring break, this is as close as Johnny would be, in proximity versus Chicago even, I said, all right, let's go. So.
Well, you are the most awesome dad ever. That is fantastic. And you guys, again, I came home last night horrified that I couldn't get there. It was such a horrible feeling. And it's kind of interesting because I'm also a pilot. I fly airplanes, and I just sold my airplane because I need a bigger one because my family's getting bigger. And if I had my airplane, I would have flown to you guys myself. So it was really, really frustrating. And I'm going to tell you, thank you for saying all that stuff. That's incredible. And I have so for the girls, I want to tell you that I had the most amazing parents. The most amazing, and I'll tell you a little story before I don't want to, I may go over time here, so I got to wrap it up quickly, but my parents lived for their children and lived for the music, and they supported us emotionally like you can't believe, and that is very, very important.
My mom was our manager, and my dad was the do-it-all guy. He loaded our truck. He drove truck. We drove through the night, slept in cars. My parents worked 3 jobs each, everything to be able to afford the equipment. And my dad, just the coolest story, my dad had the loudest voice ever. I think maybe that's where I get my loud rock and roll voice. And when his kids were playing on stage, he'd yell out this woo-hoo thing, right? And we always had a joke. It's just a cool story. We had a joke that said, Dad, someday when we're famous and we're playing on a big stage, I bet you we're going to hear you. And here's what happened. My very first show as an international artist was on tour with Van Halen. Everyone knows Van Halen, right? My very first show was at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit. And there was, 30, 40, 50,000 people. It was just Hardline and Van Halen. We go on stage, and we end the first song, and I think we opened up with we opened up with Dr. Love or something like that. And I was like, da-da-da-da-da. What did I hear? Woo! I heard my dad, gets me all choked up just thinking about it. I heard my dad scream in that audience. The coolest thing that you support the kids with the music and you guys all do it together. My family loved the fact that their kids were in the basement every night playing. There were some nights where I just wanted to be a kid. I had to be very careful because it was my profession. I wasn't allowed to go skiing. I wasn't allowed to ride dirt bikes and things like that. But for me, it was okay because I just wanted to live music. Anyway, thanks for bringing the kids. What a cool way to spend a spring break. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you guys so much. I think I have to wrap it up because I think you guys need the room for the next presentation. Is that correct?
You got a few minutes if we have any last questions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man, fire away. What shirt do you have on there? Is that the Sega shirt?
It's the Sonic Mania t-shirt that they had on Amazon last September.
Oh, that's cool, yeah. I can kind of see it's a little blurry. It's cool. What's your question, man?
So you had mentioned earlier that you're a pilot. How long have you been flying and how did you get into that?
Oh, cool, yes. So, I love it, man. So my daughter is 20 years old now. So 20 years. Evidently there's some weird phenomenon that when you have a baby girl, you want to fly an airplane. I don't know if that's to get away from her, but that wasn't the case with my daughter. But about 20 years, and my favorite passengers of all time, I will fly them anywhere they want to go, are dogs. So I predominantly fly dogs for dog rescues, so I'm a member of Pilots and Paws. So my son Brandon, who's also a very, very good pilot, even though he's not of age yet, he's 13, he flies, he's my co-pilot, and we pick up dogs from the south or from wherever, in the middle of the night, doesn't matter. I've flown through storms, through snow, rain, you name it, to deliver dogs. It's like that's like my second passion in life. So yeah, I've been flying for about 20 years, and I fly single engine land. I know how to fly twins, but I don't have a twin. But that's the other reason for getting a larger airplane. I can fit more dogs, not people, more dogs in the airplane. Best passengers ever. Do you fly? Are you a pilot? Not. Okay. Just curious about it. Yeah. My preference is to be in the air. I sort of am a little angry with God that he didn't give me wings, but that's cool. I'd much rather be in the sky than on the ground. I absolutely love it. And the most dangerous thing about flying is driving to the airport. That's what we say. Because it's awesome up there. I flew from California to my home in Connecticut in a small little airplane. I love it. Above the clouds and just go. It's I dig it. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap it up? And I want to thank you all for joining me today. It's so cool, and I'm sorry it's not quite the same as being there because I give you all hugs and high fives. Any other questions? We're all good?
Oh,
That's
one more. Let me run over there.
No problem. The rocker dad.
Hey, I just came across a video on Facebook recently of a 6-year-old named Avery playing drums with Brad Paisley, and they were doing Hot for Teacher.
No!
Yeah, so if you want, I can send it to you. But so I wanted to just, because I know, I'm a big Van Halen fan too. But Brad Paisley, I mean, they just nailed it. And this 6-year-old blew my mind, this kid. I mean, and
you can hit my page.
Yeah,
If you
all
hit
right.
Johnny Pink Hardline page, that would be cool.
Okay, and just so you know where they got that beginning rhythm for Hot for Teacher, it's a Lamborghini Countach idling. That's the stereo of the lope of that exhaust. Yeah, that's what I heard. So.
Okay, here's a cool drum story for you, because I started out as a drummer. So I had my first kit was a 5-piece Ludwig drum kit, right? It was pearlized, right? Here's what happened. We had all lights and stuff around it. A light touched my drum. My drums burst into flame. Almost burnt my house down. This is when I lived in Pennsylvania. The story gets better. So, we were just a middle-class family to go out and buy a new set of drums, and that was a tough thing to do. But my dad always found a way. We went to the store, a music store, and there were these Ludwig Chroma Wood drums, and we could not afford them. They were like $2,000. My father takes the owner of the store outside. I don't know, Italian dads. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he said. But those drums ended up in the car on the way home. And he actually paid them off week by week, which was just the most amazing thing. But the cool thing was that I got to speak to Bill Ludwig. Ludwig or Bill? Bill's the son. Bill. Senior, yes. Bill Ludwig. From his yacht. Think about that. This was 30 plus years ago, and he had a phone in his boat, and he actually did not know that that coating was flammable. So he was so upset, but I was the one that made the change to protect those shells, and they changed the whole composition of those shells. It's pretty interesting. And then he went out and he bought drum cases for all my new drums and sent them to me as a gift, which was really cool. But I got to talk to him on spot. That was Ludwig, man. That was awesome. So anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for being fans and listening to the music, and check out Bridge Music Soul Out. It's a lot of fun, and I want to wish you a great rest of the weekend. Sorry I'm not there. Life happens, right? So I hope to see everybody next year. I will be around for sure in person, and we'll meet and we'll sign stuff and we'll have a good time. All right, guys, I got to take off. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Johnny.
We'll see you all soon.
And there you go. That's the end of this week's podcast panel episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, learning a little bit about how Johnny Gioeli has been involved with the Sonic series since 1998. And that's it for this episode. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and game on.